The distress beacon cut through the void like a knife, its desperate pulse reaching the human colony ship Defiance as it patrolled the outer rim of Terran space. Captain Adnan Shah stood on the bridge, his weathered face illuminated by the crimson warning lights that bathed the command center in an ominous glow. "Signal origin?" he asked, his voice steady despite the tension crackling through the air. "Kepler 442b, sir," came the reply from Lieutenant Neha Patel at the communication station. Her fingers danced across the holographic interface, pulling up system data. "It's a Zalari colony. Population approximately 50,000. Adnan's jaw tightened. The Zalari, a peaceful species of crystalline beings who had welcomed humanity into their trade networks decades ago. They were philosophers and artists, not warriors. Whatever had driven them to broadcast a distress signal across half the galaxy must have been catastrophic. "Content of the message?" Adnan demanded. Neha's voice wavered slightly as she translated the alien frequencies. They're begging, sir. The Vex Collective has arrived in their system. They're requesting immediate evacuation assistance from any allied species." She paused, her dark eyes meeting his. "Sir, they specifically mentioned that they know humans have a reputation for being monsters. They said they're willing to accept help from monsters if it means survival." The bridge fell silent. Every human present knew their reputation among the galactic community. While other species had evolved past their violent tendencies, humanity had embraced theirs, weaponized them, turned them into tools of protection and retribution. They were the galaxy's attack dogs, the species others called when diplomacy failed. "Time to intercept?" Adnan asked. 18 hours at maximum burn, sir. "But Captain..." Neha's voice trailed off. "Speak freely, Lieutenant. Intelligence reports indicate 3 Vex harvesters in system. Our ship alone wouldn't stand a chance in direct combat. We'd need at least a battle group to..." "Plot the course," Adnan interrupted. "Maximum burn. Sir, that's suicide. The Vex don't take prisoners. They consume everything, biomatter, technology, even planetary atmospheres. If we go in alone..." "Lieutenant Patel." Adnan's voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "The Zalari called us monsters and still begged for our help. That tells you everything you need to know about how desperate they are." He turned to face the crew. "We may be monsters, but we're their monsters now." The Defiance altered course, its fusion drives pushing the ship to dangerous velocities. In the cargo bays, human Marines checked their weapons. Kinetic rifles that fired depleted uranium rounds, plasma cannons that could melt through starship hulls, and the dreaded planet crackers. Antimatter warheads that violated 17 galactic treaties but remained standard issue for human vessels. As they approached the Kepler system, the scope of the devastation became clear. 2 of the 3 Zalari worlds were already dark, their surfaces stripped bare by the Vex harvesters. The 3rd world, Zalari Prime, still glowed with the faint light of civilization, but massive alien vessels hung in orbit like metallic vultures. "Neha, open a channel to the Vex fleet," Adnan commanded. "Sir, they don't negotiate. Open the channel." The main screen flickered to life, revealing the grotesque form of a Vex collective consciousness, a writhing mass of organic and mechanical components that had once been a dozen different species, now fused into a single consuming entity. "Human vessel," the thing spoke in a voice like grinding metal. "You arrive to witness the consumption of obsolete biological matter. Retreat or join the harvest." Adnan stepped forward, his hands clasped behind his back. "I am Captain Adnan Shah of the Terran Defense Force. You have 60 seconds to withdraw from this system." The Vex entity's multiple eyes focused on him. "You threaten us? A single vessel against our collective might? Your species' reputation for violence is noted, but irrelevant. We are inevitable." 55 seconds, Adnan replied calmly. "You cannot save them, monster of Earth. We have consumed 1,000 worlds, absorbed 1,000,000 species. What can one ship? 40 seconds. Lieutenant Patel, begin broadcasting on all frequencies." Neha's fingers flew across her console. Across the galaxy, on every human world and every Terran Defense Force vessel, the same message began to transmit. Pack protocol activated. Grid reference Kepler 442. Immediate response authorized. The Vex entity paused, something resembling confusion flickering across its grotesque features. "Pack protocol? What primitive ritual?" 20 seconds, Adnan interrupted. You called us monsters. You were right, but you made one critical error in your assessment. Space around the Kepler system began to shimmer. Hyperspace portals tore open like wounds in reality itself. One ship emerged. Then 10, then 100. The human fleet materialized from the void. Battle cruisers, destroyers, carrier groups, and dreadnoughts. Each vessel bore the scars of countless battles, their hulls decorated with the kill marks of defeated enemies. Impossible, the Vex whispered. No species maintains such rapid response capabilities across galactic distances. We don't just maintain them, Adnan said, his voice carrying across all channels. We live by them. You see, when you threaten one pack member, you threaten the entire pack, and humanity learned long ago that the only response to existential threats is overwhelming, immediate, and absolute violence. The human fleet opened fire simultaneously. The void erupted in brilliant flashes as antimatter warheads detonated against Vex hulls. Particle beams lanced through alien armor like needles through paper. The Vex harvesters, massive ships that had consumed worlds, were reduced to expanding clouds of superheated plasma in minutes. On the surface of Zalari Prime, crystalline beings emerged from their shelters to witness the impossible, their world's salvation written in fire across the stars above. The distress beacons fell silent, replaced by messages of gratitude and awe. As the last Vex vessel died, Adnan opened a channel to the Zalari leadership. The alien who appeared on screen was translucent, beautiful in its geometric perfection and trembling with emotion. Captain Shah, the Zalari leader spoke, its voice like wind chimes. We called you monsters, yet you saved us. Why? Adnan considered the question for a long moment. Because sometimes the galaxy needs monsters. Sometimes being the thing that others fear is the only way to protect those who can't protect themselves. He paused. You begged for mercy from monsters. We gave you something better. We gave you justice. The human fleet began to disperse, each ship returning to its patrol route, ready to answer the next call for help. As the Defiance prepared to resume its mission, Neha approached her captain. Sir, the Zalari are transmitting poetry about us. They're calling us the beautiful monsters and guardians of the gentle species. Adnan smiled grimly. Let them. In a galaxy full of predators, someone has to be the apex predator. Might as well be us. The Defiance jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind a system at peace and a reminder that echoed across the galaxy. Humanity had earned its monstrous reputation not through cruelty, but through an unwavering commitment to protect those who could not protect themselves. In the void between stars, the pack prowled on, ready to answer the next call for salvation.